Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things to get into. We got a lot going on. There's some craziness going on, so we have got to get this bad boy on and popping. Real talk. But still, do me a favor before we get into everything, because this is some pretty crazy stuff. A lot of developing stuff has been going on. We can't not talk about these things, so let's get into it. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Woo! Please make sure you are subscribed or following those platforms, okay? Of course, make sure you're subscribed here on my main channel, The Pascal Show. Go check out The Pascal Show clips. Subscribe over there. Go check out Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there as well. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because right now it is kind of random, unfortunately. You know, it's been busy times in this life, okay? So make sure you're subscribed and that notification bell is set to all. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support this channel if you can. Your boy's working hard. So hit that notification bell. Hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay? PascalMerch.com. All righty, guys. We got to get into some stuff. We got some things we have got to talk about, okay? There's a lot that's been going on lately. Obviously, there's been, I feel like every 5 seconds we are, turning our head towards something. Every 5 seconds, it's the sound effect. Yeah, isn't it kind of? I mean, we're hearing things about Malcolm Jamal Warner to Ozzy Osbourne to Hulk Hogan, and then some, right? There's been so many people that have lost their lives, and it's been absolutely insane, right? A lot of legends have passed away. In fact, I'm hearing some other news about somebody else, another musical legend as well, that is not looking good for that particular person as well, which we will talk about here in a second. I mean, just briefly. This is just something I've been hearing in the grapevine. I've been hearing through the grapevine. But nonetheless, we have been dealing with a lot of really, really sad things. I mean, it's one thing after the other, after the other, after the other, and it's just pretty insane, okay? It's been pretty wild lately, and it never stops, right? And so, of course, I just want to say before we go into everything, if you can, take a moment to just breathe in this wonderful air. Take a moment, as corny as it might be, to enjoy that sunset. And most importantly, try as much as you can to enjoy that beautiful time that you have with your family and your loved ones, because you never know. Tomorrow's not promised. All I'm saying is, please, get that extra hug in, Throw out that extra I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need more than anything in this world right now. Yeah, things are extremely polarizing. Everything's at literally at the everything's at the edge of like hitting the red button, right? Everything's about to go nuclear. So all I say is, please, take some moments for yourself, okay? Get away from the QWERTY keyboard, even you buttholes that are out there, okay? Just that just get off on being buttholes. Just take a moment and not be a butthole for 5 seconds, and just embrace how beautiful life is and the people that you surround your life with are beautiful as well. That's all I'm asking. Okay. Even to my greatest enemies, I wish this upon them too. Real talk. I'm being dead ass. All right. Because we need more of that. Right. So again, just saying that out loud. Okay. Now, I've been hearing this rumor, at least this is what's been spreading throughout throughout X right now, talking about, music icon, singer, songwriter, Phil Collins apparently is in hospice now. And so, you know what that means. And there could very well be some bad news coming soon when it comes to that news, when it comes to Phil Collins. So again, like I keep saying, I can't stress this enough. There's a lot of amazing people out there that are just slowly disappearing, and it's crazy. Okay. It's crazy. So again, I just say, if you can, hold on. Hold on. So if you can, take the time to enjoy and embrace the good things that are going on in life. Okay. Because there's a lot of things to be excited about. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. Okay. Now, yes, I heard that, Phil Collins has not been well for a while, but now they're saying that he is in hospice. But again, like I said, I have yet to see any, reportings of this, but, I'm just saying that is something that's also happening right now as we speak. I'm not kidding. I listened to the song. I'm not kidding. I was on like this 80s kick yesterday and, just in the ride and everything. And I pulled up, I think it's called Take Me Home. Phil Collins, Take Me Home. Right? Just out of nowhere. I'm just like, I haven't heard, man, what is, put it on. Like Susudio, you know what I mean? Those things. So I'm just on this like 80s kick, listening to like Sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying? Like that song kicks. And I know that's Peter Gabriel, but I'm just saying, I was just on this kick, and I was like, Phil Collins, hell yeah, Phil Collins. He had some hits, baby. So I put it on. I'm like, man, this song's good. I was like, I forgot how good this song is, right? Damn, this song's fire, though. And then as I'm getting ready for this show, I'm just looking up things, making sure I have some things for you guys. And all of a sudden they say, they're talking about Phil Collins being in hospice. I'm like, no, come on, man. Are you serious? Are you serious? Right? So again, I was just, like I said, on this 80s kick, playing some old tracks, that kind of thing. And, Take Me Home was one of them. Sledgehammer was another, and I was just, playing the old hits. And I'm like, man, they don't make music like this, and, just enjoying the ride and just listening to some random songs that I don't normally play normally. Right. And, sometimes it's nice to have that refresher, or, clear your brain from all the other songs that you hear on the radio or on TikTok all the mother loving time. So I was like, okay, let's hit a cleanse button real quick, and let's just hear some other stuff. Let's just go off the rails for a second. And so it was cool. It was very, very cool. And I forgot about certain songs and stuff like that. But like I said, I was playing Phil Collins, and then next thing you know, here I'm talking to you guys about it right now, and I'm like, damn, they really did. They really are talking about how he is in hospice right now, which is obviously terrible, terrible news. Okay. And, thoughts and prayers. Oh yeah. That's the other song too. In the air tonight. Yeah. I played that one, of course, too. Of course. who doesn't play that song, right? So again, that is insane. It is heartbreaking. But again, it's like a lot of our legends, a lot like just seem to be, it's like bad news for all of our legends back to back to back to back to back. And so, like I said, prayers to Phil Collins and his people. Again, if that rumor, what's being said out here is true, shoot, even You'll Be in My Heart. You know what I mean? Tarzan, that song. Good song, right? So again, like, I'm just like, man, oh gosh, not another one. Please, not another one, right? So obviously, we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, the classic one. I know. I mean, we, as we all are, right? We all are getting old. You know what I'm saying? But again, we'll see if that's actually 110% true. If that's true, man, that sounds terrible. But like I said, that's just a rumor that's just kind of flying out the gates right now. And hopefully it's not true, right? But we got to talk about sneaky links. Okay, yes, we are doing a complete left turn real quick. We are pivoting hard in the conversation, but we need to talk about this really quick because there's a few updates that we need to talk about as far as the Coldplay Kiss Cam. Yes, we are here to talk about the Trump stuff. Don't worry, we're going to be getting into that big time here in just a short minute. But I do need to talk to you guys about this situation. Now, if you don't know about the Coldplay Kiss Cam, then you've been living under a rock. I don't know what else to tell you, okay? This is why I've been saying sneaky links is like the theme of the month, okay? July has been sneaky links, okay? That even is with Epstein, okay? Real talk. In the most disgusting kind of way, all right? But when it comes to this Coldplay Kiss Cam, I've never seen someone's life or two people's lives go up in flames in real time so fast than that Coldplay Kiss Cam. Let me just keep it a beam. You can't unsee the video. You can't unsee the salaciousness and the betrayal that washes over their faces in nanoseconds, right? Now, if you don't know about the Kiss Cam, Coldplay Kiss Cam, Coldplay was doing this whole thing like he was at like a damn hockey game, all right, or a baseball game. They were doing a Kiss Cam thing. So he's playing his songs. He's got this camera out there, and they're scanning the audience, right? And as they're scanning the audience, he's like, oh, yeah, let's see these couples. Oh, that's nice. Oh, look at them. Just showcasing these people loving on each other, being happy, blah, blah, blah. Just couples together on screen, right? And then they get to this video or to this couple, right? And they're holding on to each other. They're doing their couples thing. But as soon as they realized that the camera was on them, which was like nanoseconds too late, they reacted in such a cartoonish, overdramatic way, like they were dodging a bullet, right? Now, there's a lot of things I want to say about that, and I've said this in the pop-up video, but I'm going to say right now, okay? Let me just keep it real with you. Okay, first and foremost, you know that if they just stood there and just kept on smiling, like, you know what I mean? Stay right there, just keep smiling. The camera will move. If they did that, if they didn't move, and they didn't do that huge dramatic reaction, that I'm sure they'd be fine right now, that it wouldn't be a viral moment. Nobody in their mama would be looking these people up, practically doxing these individuals and ruining their personal lives and their professional lives. You realize that if they just stood there, it would have been fine. You know that, right? If they just kept going like this, doing their thing, and just acted like it was nothing, right? No one would be the wiser. No one would ask any questions. There would just be two people in love, all cuddly, looking like they're on the edge of the Titanic. That's how they're holding each other. Really. Okay? No big deal. Right? But the fact that they were, oh God, like that. Oh like that. Like, it was so bad that everyone's like, who are those people? Something weird is going on right there. And now my whole life is dedicated to finding out exactly who these mother lovers are. And that's exactly what happened. Everybody, their mama was searching, looking them up, trying to find out who they were. And the internet always reigns supreme. Okay? Always reigns mother-loving supreme. It will always be undefeated. Takes 2 seconds, clickety, clackety, click, click, clack, and they found out everything about these people. Okay? It was pretty bad. One of them was the CEO of a company called Astronomer. I ain't never heard of Astronomer in my whole entire life until this scandal. Okay? But it gave Astronomer some kind of press, and they say there's no such thing as bad press, right? Free publicity for millions of people, right? We find out that the guy is the CEO of Astronomer, and that the girl that he was holding on to is not his wife. In fact, she is the head of HR for Astronomer. You know, it's the most antithesis, like that's the most anti-HR thing to do, which is fraternizing, bumping uglies with the boss, with another employee. Okay? Yeah. CEO face, right? CEO face, indeed. But she was the head of the HR. Let me repeat that again. The head of the HR. Okay? Just catching you guys up to everything. Okay? I mean, I wish it was HW so we can basically say it stands for home wrecker. Get it? But, so I'm just moving the W over and we're just going to use the R. So HR really stands for home wrecker. Okay? And she was the top of the class. She was the boss of it all. Home wrecker. Right? They're not married to each other, but they got their own mans and own womans. They got husby and wifesies. Okay? And of course, the internet went ham. And of course, there was like fake responses where the CEO put out a response basically saying, how dare you guys, expose our affair without our consent. That wasn't real, by the way. That stuff was not real. In fact, because instantly my reaction is, how dare you say that? What about your wife and you having affairs and relations with other women without her consent too, bruh? You know what I mean? So it was pretty bad, only to find out that response was fake. So later on, we find out, as we talked about in another video, that the CEO, Andy Byron, okay, he steps down from being CEO of Astronomer, right? And basically saying, like, the company's like, well, we don't take kindly to this kinds of stuff. There will be an internal investigation, which I hope that there really will be, because honestly, even at the event, allegedly there were people there at the event that also work at Astronomer too. So you mean to tell me the CEO and the head of HR, who would most likely fire anybody else who would be doing this kind of behavior, also had employees at the same event knowing that they were in there bumping uglies, locking lips, and have a grand old time, and ain't nobody said nothing about nothing? That is diabolical. But nonetheless, hopefully there will be an internal investigation within the whole doggone thing, because that is just some disgusting, messed up stuff. Okay? Just so you know. The CEO steps down. And by the way, good on him. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's the only right thing to do. It's the only right thing to do. He steps down. But then the next question I had was, what about her though? She stands for home wrecker, HR is homewrecker from now on, at least in this situation. So what about homewrecker? He's a homewrecker too, but I'm just saying she's the head of home record, okay, of HR. So why didn't she step down? Why didn't she step down? CEO was like, I'm out, me gone. Me gone. What I did was diabolical, blood clot, bomba clot. She didn't step down during that time until just about today. Astronomer homewrecker, head of HR, okay, finally resigns after viral kiss cam. What took her so long? What took her so long? With all due respect, what took her so long? What took her so long? Why didn't she go the same time he left? As soon as he said, I'm out, she should have been signing her resignation papers, signing that letter saying, I'm out. What I did was wrong too. Or was she like, well, maybe they'll just be looking at Andy Byron the entire time and they won't look at me. They'll just ignore me. Maybe that's what it is. Hopefully they just won't even see me. They'll just go after the man. Well, here's the thing. She also is a married woman to a very, very rich man too. Okay? She's just as bad as the CEO, former CEO. Why did it take her so doggone long? Okay? She had some privilege. Female privilege then? Oh, I just said it. Oh, snap. Oh, no, don't at me. Don't at me. Okay? Shots fired. I'm kidding, but real talk. It's like, oh, well, the man's just going to take the brunt of it, but she ain't going to take none of it too. She was the home wrecker too. She wrecked her own home by bumping uglies with the CEO. And that's what's crazy to me is that it's Coldplay, baby. It's Coldplay. No, they went at a Cardi B concert. No, they were not at a Sexy Red concert. It's almost like they were going and watching Michael Bublé in color. Okay, guys? Still haven't met you yet. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, and they're sitting there going, yeah, we're cheating on each other. We're cheating on each other's spouses. When I think of Coldplay, I think about sticking my penis in somebody else's vajayjay. That's what I think of when I hear Coldplay. Every time I just think about cheating. I say, forget my relationship. How precious it is. As soon as I hear da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I want to put my hand in a cookie jar. Somebody else's. I'm like, is that consensual? Okay, hand in cookie jar. I'm taking a whole handful of these cookies in my hands. Come on now. It's bad. Bad. Okay? So again, she finally resigned. It's about diggity damn time. Let's take a look at this. This took her a minute. Look at that. Look at that. They both look like they just pooped their pants. Do you see it? It's a squeeze. It's not like a and it's like a full-on deposit. You know what I'm saying? It's like a but they're trying to you know what I mean? Like it came and they're like, oh, and they're trying to clench it really fast so it doesn't like completely get all soiled. Okay, the seat of their pants completely soiled. Nope. This is there was no holes barred here. Okay. They're like, oh yeah. This is bad, guys. Okay. This is bad. Hopefully they love each other, you know. Hopefully they find happiness together forever and ever. But you realize that regardless, he is going to have to give half of everything to his soon-to-be ex-wife. And then I don't know what's going to happen here with her and her I think he's like a billionaire or something crazy. He's got like crazy money, her husband too. So I'm wondering if she's going to be walking out with nothing but the clothes on her back and the gray in her hair. I'm wondering about that too. Because I don't know if they suddenly all went, like they went white. Their hair went white right at that time. Okay? Both their hair turned white right when Coldplay's camera hit their faces. That's what happened. You don't see that? She still got a little blondish, sandy blondish hair. Okay? It was like growing, and it was in mid-grow. That's what happened. She's, whilst dropping a deuce at the same time out of fear. This is bad. Okay? So, a second executive has resigned, finally, from tech company astronomer following a Coldplay concert. I'm just sorry. You can't write this stuff. A Coldplay concert. They weren't going and seeing 50 Cent, okay? They weren't seeing like the Millennial Tour, seeing B2K, bump, bump, bump. No, they were literally watching Coldplay. Do you understand that? Good God. How can that happen? Oh, God. I'm just sorry. It's imagine the divorce papers. Can you imagine the divorce papers? Just think about it for a second. The divorce papers. That night of the July such and such at the Coldplay concert, you were doing some infidelity type of behavior. Can you imagine that being in a sentence? His ex-wife, soon to be ex-wife, is trying to move on, and she's trying to confide in her friends. He got caught at a Coldplay concert. Like, how does that's not comical to you? That it is so vanilla. I don't know how to explain it. Okay? It ain't even vanilla. It's just water. There's no flavor to this. Oh, dear God. But anyway, we already know about the viral moment, okay? The company confirmed Thursday that Kristen Cabot, their chief people's officer, yeah, she a people officer, anyway, had submitted her resignation finally. So she is no longer with this astronomer. She has resigned. This is what astronomer said in a statement shared with ABC News. So we already know about the former CEO and her. They were identified by online commentators or commenters, okay, as the two were allegedly caught on camera, okay, on the kiss cam on a Jumbotron at a Coldplay concert in Boston. Okay, and it's not like they drove to a whole other state and they were trying to do this on the low. Apparently they lived in the area as well. That's it's just so bad. To add insult to injury, okay, is the fact that not only that it's a Coldplay concert, but the fact that they actually went to a concert that was in the area of where they live. They didn't even say, let's go to Vegas or let's go 100,000 miles away from where our respective spouses live. Okay. They decide, yeah, let's just go down the street. No one will figure it out. Lo and behold, they get caught on that kiss cam, which of course has turned into a viral moment. But like I said, they frozen like deers in headlights, like raccoons in the middle of the street right before they're about to get plowed down by a 18-wheeler. That is exactly what that looks like. And now that will forever be here for all of us to remember. And this is what I mean by this, sneaky links, because you know who you are, okay? And for those of y'all who do have sneaky links, take this as a cautionary tale. Both their lives are completely been obliterated. That's a word we like to use lately. Absolutely obliterated because they couldn't keep their respective hands out of their other people's cookie jars. And I don't give a damn if it's chocolate chip, red velvet, macadamia nuts, or cookie crisp. I don't care. You keep your damn hands to yourself and you respect your spouse. But now both of them are out of a job and they're probably, they're going to be fine. This CEO is going to be fine. I don't know about her. Okay. But he going to be fine. But for how long? That's the question. But they will both always be known as the people who are caught at a Coldplay concert. Have you ever thought about I need to put that back up. You can't unsee that. Okay. But I just want to point something out. You ever thought about like a timeline of something? Hear me out. You got the band coming out as Coldplay, and they were called Yellow. And then, everyone's like, whoa, what's this band? They're British, so it must mean they're authentic. Great. So they make a whole bunch of movies or a whole bunch of music. They make a whole bunch of albums, all this stuff, right? In the meantime, the other timeline is these two, right? They're growing up. They're doing their thing and appreciating the music, blah, 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 only for their lives to intersect for this particular moment in time. Can you imagine that? Like, not only the accolades that I'm sure Coldplay has garnered, okay, that they've been bestowed and blessed upon, right? Not only just that, but now they are synonymous to a moment like this. Isn't that crazy? A whole timeline of music. And now they will be forever known as the people that exposed a sneaky link in real time in their own concert. Have you ever thought about that? Like maybe they were only made to make those musics, those songs, all those concerts, years and years of concerts, only to reach to this moment to expose these two mugglishes. Isn't that insane? Ain't that the wildest thing? Crazy, right? Yeah, of all the thousands of people that were in that concert, they pick out two people that happen to be cheating on each other's respective spouses. Like, how's that possible? That's insane. Think about that for a second. Think about that timeline. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? The band was only made for this moment. And you know what I also feel bad about? I feel so sad for their spouses. Yeah. Because here's the thing. Wouldn't you want it to be more of a secluded, one-on-one type of revelation rather than it being exposed to the whole mother freaking world? Think about that for a second. The whole world knew that these two were bumping uglies and cheating on their spouses before the spouses even knew. Imagine that. Imagine that world, y'all. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, have you ever been cheated on? I'm sure you have at some point. Okay. We all have been cheated on at some point. Okay. In our lives. And it hurts. It cuts like a mother-loving knife. But imagine, and it angers you even more if your best friend's like, yeah, bro, I've been known about that. Shoot, man, I was trying to tell you before, bro. And you're like, damn, bro, you're my best friend. Why didn't you tell me before? Everybody and their mama knew that they were out here doing stuff behind your back, right? That your girl or your man is stepping out on you, right? It hurts and it cuts like a knife. Now imagine that, but times it by 1 trillion or more. Ain't that insane? Everybody else knows except you. And then you find out by opening up TMZ. Hold up. And then you opened up TMZ, Finding, oh, that's my husband. What's that? What's this? What? Like that. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? It's one way to find out from your spouse. It's another one when you have to find out on the internet. And everybody's in on the joke except you. That is just crazy. But here's the thing. He gone, she gone. Now we'll see what's going on as far as divorces, if he's been kicked out of the house or something like that, right? And same with her too. She deserves the same treatment, okay? She just as bad. That's why I was like, why didn't she resign when he resigned? That should have been simultaneously, okay, guys? Without question. That should have been without question simultaneous. And I don't know if they were just being nice to her because she's the woman or not. I don't know. But she is just as bad as him. And now she's finally doing the right thing, which I'm very happy about. But what say you guys? Definitely let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me take a look at these super chats here really quick. But damn, crazy, right? Crazy. Sneaky links, right? Sneaky freaking links. Michelle, what's up? Back in the early 90s, I would confuse Phil Collins songs with Elton John. Yeah, I can see that. If you really think about it, they both had a similar style of music. I could kind of see it. I feel like Ethan. I feel like Phil Collins' music was a lot more rhythmic, right? It was a lot more percussive because he was a drummer. So I think a lot of his music was very, very percussive and had like this percussion type of driving force to it. You know, his beats were fire. Like I said, I was listening to his music again. I was like, damn, some of these songs are fire. Just listening to the beats, they were just good. You know, Tiger, thank you so much for the love. Or Tigre, hermano, thank you so much. They saw the kiss cam and kept cuddling for adrenaline. Yeah, they should have just kept holding on to each other, but that's where it messed up. Instead of them just stand and go, just keep swaying. Just don't move. Just keep swaying. They could have just done that and nobody would have known anything. There might have been like one or two people that might have seen it, right? But it would not be this big. Trust me, it would not. Okay. Let's go on. Michelle, thank you so much. It's weird we are talking about Coldplay because I've started watching Game of Thrones this month, and I recently watched Coldplay Game of Thrones musical. Wait, I'm sorry. What? For Red Nose Day on YouTube? What? Excuse me. What? Huh? Coldplay Game of Thrones musical? You need to hit me. You need to get me hip to that. I don't know what the hell that is. What are they doing? Lights go out and then it's just a dragon flying through the air. I'm confused, but that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Black Anonymous, thank you so much. How about shortbread cookies? Okay. I'm not discriminating. All them cookies. Okay. All of them delicious, delectable desserts. Okay. Pastries. You can even throw some donuts in there. It don't matter. Okay. Some people are weird and will throw donuts in a cookie jar. I don't know why, but I'm sure they have. You know what I mean? Maybe try sometime. Let me know. Maybe it's just donut holes. Donut holes. There's a copious amount of donut holes in a cookie jar. I could actually see that. Okay. And I approve that message. I would be for that because they're delicious. But at the same time, any pastry, just, putting your hand, getting your hands caught in the bread box. That sounds weird. And that sounds like, they thick. Okay. Thick Derek. Okay. But something to think about for sure. Okay. That bread box. Yeah, that sounds thick. That sounds thick. Okay. But anyway, We got to get into this conversation, the moment that we've all been waiting for. Y'all been wanting to have this conversation, so I know, and that's why you guys are here. There's been a lot that's been going on in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, the Trump stuff, the Pam Bondi DOJ stuff. There's been a lot that's been going on. Yesterday, when we were talking about Hulk Hogan's passing, okay, near the end of the show, I mentioned that the DOJ was actually meeting as we spoke, okay, as we were live, they were actually meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell, which was very interesting information to hear because, of course, we're all wondering, is this real? Is this just theatrics? Are they really going to work out some sort of deal? What's going on with this? Now, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, hold on. First off, Miss Rachel, let me tell you something. First off, yes, it's romantic, but I don't see it being cheat on wife or husband music. You see what I'm saying? Bump it up, like straight up, just, you know what I mean? Freak off type stuff. I just don't see, like, for example, do you see the likes of Diddy, for example, going and turning on Coldplay in the midst of someone like the Punisher with Cassie doing the Alabama Slammer? I'm just saying, do you hear that? Paradise. I just don't envision. It's just not formalizing in my mind. Okay, materializing in my mind. Okay, where you got them covered in baby oil and he's in the background stroking off with Astro Glide and they just bumping uglies to some Coldplay playing in the back. I just don't see it. I'm just gonna be real. I don't see that. Not never. Okay, I just don't. I don't think they even have one song that gives off like I just want to. You know what I mean? I don't. No. Their music you hear at white weddings. I'm sorry. Like I said, Michael Bublé. You know, it's you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying the music isn't good. I'm just saying it's a different vibe, right? Like if you're in there, you just want to. You know what I mean? It's no love here. It's just straight effery, right? You don't really. I'm just saying, you just don't see, you know? Coldplay? You know what I mean? Coldplay, I think, White Claws and Fireball shots. You know what I mean? Sexy Red. It's like Hennessy, neat, and blunts. You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, Punisher, Cassie, Diddy in the corner, Astro Glide, Alabama Slammer. You see what I'm saying? All day, right? Coldplay, drinking Perrier and reading the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see cheating. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. Okay? I just don't see it. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's the doggone truth. Okay? It don't connect. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine Michael Bublé being played. Like, no, not in those kind of scenarios. Alabama Slammer with Michael Bublé. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. You understand? That sounds crazy. sexy. Okay? He does. Okay? Like, he's no. And I bet back in the day, like when that kind of music, like when we talk about Michael Bublé, I bet back in the day, that kind of music, like the fly me to the moon, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I'm sure that was like the Sexy Red type stuff. Okay? Alabama Slammer all day long with that stuff. Because jazz was the devil's music back then, right? So maybe back then, but right now, hell no. Hell no. Okay? You hear that at weddings. Okay? But people are into weird things. You never know. You just never know. But moving back into this conversation, I talked to you guys about this when we were covering the Hulk Hogan stuff, right? Then we found out that the DOJ was actually meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. And obviously that's been a very interesting and pretty wild thing for sure, okay? And of course, we're going to be talking about that here in just a minute. But first, we got to go a little bit backwards. I'm sorry. I know, boo, tomatoes. But at the same time, we got to do a little bit of coverage because I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this before, okay? I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about this before. There's something that happened with the Wall Street Journal. Yes, we're back with the Wall Street Journal again. No, this is not the title from that Wall Street Journal because the Wall Street Journal has a paywall. I ain't going to pay it. So there's a summary of this from CNBC that we need to talk about. And this for sure definitely blew the wigs back on a lot of people. Okay. And it even blew my mind when this came out a few days ago. Yes, I know this is a few days old. I know some of y'all gonna be like, it's so old, Pascal, God, it's old. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm giving you guys the updates because I didn't get a chance to talk to y'all, okay? Yes, I'm cheap, Nicole B. What of it? I didn't mean to hit that button, but see, I could hear that at a freak off. You see what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. Astroglide. Hold on. Astroglide. Baby or Alabama Slammer. Yeah! Yeah! You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Okay. We'll cut that out. But think about this for a second. Play one of your favorite Coldplay songs and then think about Alabama Slammer. And then you let me know if that song is better than Coldplay right now. Any song. Go for it. While you think about it, let me play that song one more time. Hey, get it down. Alabama Slammer. Body rolls. Okay, I'm done. Okay, but you get what I'm saying, okay? Listen to me. I got a point. So, yes, I am cheap. I'm a YouTuber for crying out loud. Okay? You think I'm making like Candace Owens monies? Man, I wish I was though. That'd be fire. I don't know what I'd do with all that money. All that money it'd be very intimidating. I'd be like, what do I do? Where do I put all this money? In a bank, honey. Oh, okay. God, I just want to stare at it. That's so much money. Damn. I had to lie to get this? Ooh. Okay, I'm kidding. But moving on. All right. DOJ apparently in May, we're going back to the story. Okay. Come on now. Come on, Corey. Don't do me like that. We're here to have a good time. Okay. So anyway, we found out a few days ago, okay, that the DOJ actually did talk to President Trump, telling him that his name indeed was in the Epstein files. Now, I'm not going to do the dun, 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 because it doesn't really mean anything, guys. It really doesn't mean a damn thing. It can mean that he was up to something sinister, but it also could mean nothing. It could just mean that he was cool with him. He was friends with him for a long time, and his name was mentioned in some paperwork. It's kind of like the same thing that we've heard during the Diddy trial. Yes, I know we keep resorting back to that, but we have to talk about it. It's a good example. There were times that other people's names were being brought up at the trial, right? The likes of, let's just say, I'm trying to remember a person's name, like Usher. Usher's name was mentioned in the conversation. Chris Brown's name was mentioned, but that doesn't mean that they were up to anything bad. It just means that they were at the party or in the specific area, so on and so forth, right? So again, let me just be real. Just because his name is being mentioned in here does not mean he's up to something sinister. But it also could mean that too. It's still 50-50, guys, okay? But let's take a look at this, all right? Let's take a quick look at this. So, Attorney General Pam Bondi told President Trump at a meeting in May that his name indeed appeared multiple times in their documents about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is what the Wall Street Journal reported a couple days ago, all right? The May date reported by the Journal was weeks before the DOJ's July 7th announcement that it would not release the Epstein's files, despite earlier promises by the Attorney General, who leads the DOJ, and others in the president's orbit, that the material would be disclosed to the public. Now, remember, they said, nope, we can't, there's nothing here. There's no information here. There's no list. There's nothing to worry about, general public. Go with God. Have a great day. Enjoy your life, right? Obviously, everybody loses their mind. They doubled down on that, saying there is nothing here. There are no files to talk of, to even worry about, to even bring up. So keep it moving, right? That's not the case. Because according to the Wall Street Journal, and if what they are saying is true, this is very, very bad. This completely shows a cover-up, everybody. Now here comes the dun-dun-dun. Now, the DOJ said Wednesday in a statement that Bondi and Deputy Attorney General, the person underneath her, okay, Todd Blanche, discussed the Epstein files with Trump as part of their quote-unquote routine briefing, but did not specify the timing of the briefing. So the Journal reported that the president was also told at the meeting that, quote unquote, many other high profile figures were also named, which, of course, we're not really that surprised. But does it mean that they were up to no good? That's the question, right? Who are these people? Who are these names? So these names were in the Epstein files, and that the quote unquote files contained what officials felt was unverified hearsay about many people, including Trump, who had socialized with Epstein in the past. Like I said, they were friends with each other for 15 plus years, y'all. Hey, sharing women, chasing women. Let's be real. Okay? Remember the beauty pageants that Trump did and all that? Now when you look at it and think about it, it's kind of wild. The beauty pageants and all that. But that's a whole other conversation in itself. Okay? Being mentioned in the Epstein records is not a sign of wrongdoing, which I'm glad that they mentioned that, okay? And that's what the Journal noted. The DOJ's decision not to release the Epstein files sparked backlash from Trump's MAGA supporters, who have been obsessed over conspiracies related to the Epstein case for years. That's everybody. It's not just his MAGA base. It's everyone is obsessed with this thing, okay? And some people are like, hey, let's move on. Like he said, let's move on. We don't need to talk about it. But yet, no one's willing to let it go. For sure. In the face of that criticism from his political base, Trump last week directed Bondi to seek the unsealing of transcripts for grand jury proceedings related to federal probes of Epstein and his convicted procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't worry, we're going to be getting back to her very shortly. All right. And of course, this is Pam Bondi. Okay. Trump had been friends with Epstein for years, but the two men had a fallout long before Epstein did the thing to himself, allegedly, in the jail in August of 2019, weeks after being arrested for federal child STing charges. Epstein also had many other wealthy, high-profile friends, including Britain's Prince Andrew. Which, of course, have we heard much from Prince Andrew? Not much. Reached for comment on the journal's new reporting, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung told CNBC the fact is that the president kicked Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club for being a creep. I'd love to hear that story. Man, I wish I was a fly on that. Actually, I don't want to be a fly on that wall, to be honest. I don't want to incriminate myself. I don't want to put myself in a bad situation if it's potentially going to be a place that was going to be bad and wrongdoing or crimes being committed. But at the same time, I would love to hear that story, though. I'd really love to hear what that story is all about. Okay? This is nothing more than a continuation of the fake news stories concocted by the Democrats and liberal media, just like Obama Russiagate scandal, which President Trump was right about. Now, here's the thing. Sure, definitely, there needs to be a conversation about that Obama Russiagate information, about the possibility of Obama trying to commit treason and all that. And that's definitely a conversation we are going to have a conversation about here very, very soon. But here's the thing, though. We've already talked about this ad nauseum, but I'm going to have to point this out one more time. All of this Democrats, liberal media, it's all of their fault. Russia BS that came out as of late has nothing to do with what's going on with Epstein, the Epstein files. They suddenly just started to click and drag that into the narrative because Trump's name is in the file and they're not willing to give the file out. Here's the other thing, too. If this was such a big deal back in the day, if this was such a big deal, and this was all fabricated and spearheaded by the Democrats, those damn Demi Moores, why wasn't there ever a conversation about that several months ago, if not several years ago, when Trump first started dropping Epstein's list in his vernacular? Think about that for a second. With all due respect, I've had some very interesting conversations with some people, okay? And, honestly, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But you can't deny the facts and you can't deny the timeline. You can't change the past. Unfortunately, we do not have a DeLorean time machine that we can jump into, throw a whole bunch of canned soda and banana peels into the gas tank and fly off back into 2016 or whatever the time it was when Trump was saying and talking about this stuff then too. We can't change the past. All we can do is look at what's being said now. And the breadcrumbs that lead us back to then show us that there were conversations about this, live interviews, live remarks, campaign comments and statements made at campaigns that don't change anything. You can tell me all day long that this is that what he's doing right now is, you're going to see how he's going to unearth all the bad Democrats. This is all a ploy to expose the messed up and corrupt left. That doesn't make any sense, because not once has he said Epstein list and all these disgusting Democrats are all to blame from the moment he started talking about it. Not once. Yeah, he brings up Clinton. Sure. Absolutely. He brings up Clinton for sure. Or the Clintons, right? But he keeps on saying, drain the swamp. So what exactly is that swamp? And why is it suddenly now, I'm throwing everything out as well, and I'm pointing blame on all these mother lovers. I'm putting cases on all these mother lovers now, when he should have been talking about that same narrative, this Obama, the Democrats, the liberal media, all that stuff. All of that should have been out there from the very beginning. And it wasn't, guys. It wasn't. And don't get me wrong, I get it. There's going to be supporters out here that are going to move the goalposts as best as they can because they can't fathom the idea of a guy like Trump making a mistake. People make mistakes. He's human. Surprise, surprise, he's human. Mistakes do happen. Maybe he talked out his ass. He shouldn't have said certain things, but he did. And he had to come clean with those things, right? He had to show up for it. But by the time they say, oh, there's no list, it's all the damn Democrats and the liberal media. If you notice, it's even the conservative media that's discussing this even more. Because it's everybody that wants to know the truth. Everyone wants to expose and drain the swamp full of these PDF files and these monsters. And if they're out here to this day right now still doing bad things, wouldn't you want them off the streets? Wouldn't you want to get their clammy, disgusting, venomous hands off of a potential future victim if you could? Everybody gives a damn about this. Everyone. But like I said, there are going to be people out here that are going to move the goalposts as best as they can for whatever it needs to be. So so that they can continue living in their dream world. But unfortunately, this is something that we're seeing in real time. And the screw up is actually happening in real time. So much that after this whole thing was exposed and was unearthed, let's not forget, Pam Bondi was supposed to show up to the CPAC event, and apparently she had some sort of injury. Now, this excuse is very interesting, and this is very unique. She claimed to have had a torn cornea.
You have some news from the Attorney General's office.
I do. Thank you very much, and thank you all for being here with us today and having me. I do have a note from the Attorney General, from Attorney General Pam Bondi, that I wanted to share, which is the following. I'm sorry to miss all of my CPAC friends today, especially Matt and Mercy Schlapp, Senator Blackburn, and the wonderful team at the Tim Tebow Foundation. Unfortunately, I am recovering from a recently torn cornea, which is preventing me from being with you. I truly wish I was able to join you and support all of the work being done on this critical issue.
Now, here's the thing. When it comes to a clip in a moment like this, doesn't that seem a little weird? Okay? Doesn't that seem a little bit odd? The timing is a little bit weird. Here it is. She could very well have a torn cornea. Real talk, she could very well have that. An accident happened right around the same time that the Wall Street Journal drops it like it's hot, this bombshell saying that Trump been known that his name is indeed in the files, even though he said himself that he was not in the files. Okay. In fact, I need to find that clip again myself too, so I can show it to you guys. We played it before, but I need to show you guys this again too. Okay. He says himself. He says himself in an interview randomly outside the White House, basically saying, I am not on the list. I don't know what you're talking about. Right. And you see Caroline, okay, sitting there, and you could tell just the look on her face. She's sitting there going, oh my God. Like you could tell she's like, I don't want to lie. That's not the godly thing to do. I shouldn't be lying. Right. But it's there. It is there. I got to find it though. Because there's just been so much info that has been flying out as of late. Hold on. Now I got to find it. Dag nabbit. Let me try that again. Oh. But again, like I said, he said himself, oh, I'm not on the list. Ain't no way. I'm not on the list. I'm not in the files. Yet we find out now that that is not true. Now, here's the thing. From what I've seen so far, okay, I have not heard anything. I haven't heard him say anything of the sort of like, or not him. Yeah, I haven't heard him say anything as far as, here it is. I found it. I have yet to hear him say anything about this new Wall Street Journal article. I know he's suing the pants off of Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal themselves, right? But at the same time, he hasn't said anything about that particular article that just dropped 2 days ago, basically saying that, yeah, he was properly given a heads up that they combed through the files and his name is in the files. But he says something different here. Doesn't he, though?
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
What? On the
DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
On Texas.
Hold on. We're going back a little bit.
Just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that...
Specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No, she's...
No. And then he goes off. And he deflects. Okay. I mean, it's hard to not see what's going on here, guys. Okay. It's hard to avoid what he is doing. Okay. And now he's been pushing another new agenda, which of course we will talk about here in just a minute. Okay. But nonetheless, we heard that the DOJ was indeed going to be having a meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. And of course, we all were wanting to know what exactly is going to happen with that. How's that all going to go down? Right? Because again, she could straight up be straight lying through her teeth. Let's not forget, she is a convicted S-tier for littles. She is a convicted S-tier. She could literally go out here and say whatever she needs to say, throw anybody's name under the bus just so she can maybe shave off a few years or even get exonerated or pardoned and get free. Okay? Just for saying whatever, potentially even whatever the Trump administration wants her to say as well. Think about that too. There's so much potential for this to go so awry. Think about those options. Think about those avenues. Let's take a listen. This is from yesterday.
Ghislaine Maxwell's sit-down with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche comes as pressure builds across party lines for answers. The battle for information leading House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer to issue a subpoena for Maxwell to testify before his panel.
Next month, lawmakers will head to the prison where Maxwell is right now serving a 20-year sentence to hear exactly what she has to say. We have live Fox News team coverage for you. Jonathan Turley is here on that in moments.
But we begin with our David Spont. He's live here in Washington with the latest on this meeting between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell. Dave?
Well, hey, John, good to be with you. It's not clear exactly what time this meeting began today, how long it will go, or even what they're talking about, though. Clearly, we'd love to be a fly on the wall to hear that conversation. But Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche is meeting with the former girlfriend and convicted co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein. As we mentioned, it's happening at the courthouse in Tallahassee. This is not far from the prison where Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence behind bars. Again, what's being discussed, we don't know. The Justice Department not commenting about any of the meeting details. But we do have some recent photos snapped by Fox Digital of Ghislaine Maxwell recently outside the Florida prison on a run or a walk. Now, her attorney says that she'll tell the truth. But the question has to be asked, at what price? Is there a deal to be cut with the Justice Department? Again, DOJ officials not even commenting on that possibility. But that question has been asked and will be asked many times in the future. In more Maxwell news, as we mentioned, House Oversight Chairman James Comer issued that formal subpoena for her to testify in a prison deposition regarding her role in what she may know in Epstein's crimes. Now, she could take the Fifth Amendment and keep quiet. Here's Comer.
August 11th is the date when we hope.
By the way, let me point this out. If she was to ever take the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, if she was to do the 5th, then that would be the biggest waste of time in the history of this entire debacle. Oh, yeah, I got all the information. I got the list, but it's up here in my noggin. You're going to have to meet me. And then they come in with their leather-bound briefcases and smelling like, I don't know, Dracar Noir. I don't know. Okay. Smelling like Polo Red. All suited up and everything. So we're here. Yeah, ma'am. We're here to hear what you have to say, Miss Maxwell. So what do you know? I plead the 5th. Why would they waste their time then? You see what I'm saying? Well, she might just actually plead the 5th. Why would she do that? Would be the most dumbest, most asinine, most ridiculous waste of freaking time if she was to do that, right? So she gonna squawk, but she might be like, no, I need this. And then I'll give you the list. But like I said, she could be lying. She could be lying. She sees she has a moment for leverage, okay? She has an opportunity to get a leg up. So she could basically say anything she wants. They are putty in her hands. Now it'll be up to the DOJ to actually see if she's telling the actual truth. That is the problem here. So again, if they were to like, yeah, well, she might just take the plea the 5th. No, she ain't gonna do that. She wants to talk. Why would they fly all the way over there to sit down, spend all of this time burning taxpayer monies and all that stuff just to sit down with her, just for her to say, I plead the 5th? Nah, she gonna talk. But it's gotta be whatever they give her, whatever they offer her, has to be enticing, okay? Now, I wish that this was all live. Like, we are walking in and they're streaming live. Like, this is some Kai Cenat type crap, okay? Cameras are rolling. They haven't met her. It's streaming live. They're walking into the prison cell or into the interrogation room or wherever they're meeting her at, and they're sitting there in live time, okay? In real time, in real life, IRL, okay? We're hearing everything she has to say. But unfortunately, there's no cameras on. We don't see anything. So there could be some serious manipulation going on or some serious plotting going on behind these closed doors. That's what's so crappy about this situation. This situation is so murky now that if they go out and they go, there's the list. That is the list, guys. There's the list. There is the list, blah, 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 right? If they were to do that, you know for a fact everybody's not going to believe that. There's still going to be conspiracy theorists, okay? You're still going to have the likes of Alex Jones out here going, oh, it's gay frogs. As you see, I can't believe this. It's just crazy. We have the administration actually exposing the truth, but is it really the truth? I thought there would be ancient aliens on this paperwork. I feel sick. I feel absolutely sick. I just can't. The chunks are just like flowing up. I just can't. Gay frogs. You see what I'm saying? So again, we'll be back to this whole drawing board all over again, even when they do put out the information. And what's sad is it could absolutely be 110% the truth, and people are still going to spin it. Okay? They still going to spin it. And they're going to, at some point soon, say that Ghislaine Maxwell is actually a man. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't sue me. Okay? I'm kidding. Let's move on.
To depose Maxwell in that prison facility in Tallahassee.
And yesterday, a Florida federal judge says she will not release grand jury material in Epstein's solicitation of a minor case in Florida back in 2008. The judge says her hands are tied, as anything to do with a grand jury in the American court system is typically kept close to the vest and secretive. But John and Sandra, we are still awaiting decisions from judges on grand jury transcripts from the New York Jeffrey Epstein and the New York Ghislaine Maxwell cases. Those could come at any time. This was a request by Attorney General Pam Bondi in the name of transparency. But again, judges will typically rule against releasing grand jury material, as I'm sure Professor Turley will mention soon if you ask him. Back to you.
But I'm sure, and we will ask him that, I'm sure that the professor will also agree that there are exceptions to the rule based on a compelling interrogatory. We'll see. David, thank you. Give us more details of this meeting when you can. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm going to let this run for a second because I got to pull something up. We got some breaking news. Holy crap. Hold on.
Sandra?
All right.
Two things. One thing we just talked about, and then some updates on that, what we just talked about previously. We'll talk about that in a second. And then something about what we're talking about right now. Okay? So just give me 2 seconds, guys. Grant me a little bit of grace.
Jonathan Turley's here, constitutional law attorney, professor at George Washington University, and Fox News contributor. So jump on in there with these questions, Jonathan, as this meeting is happening right now. What are your thoughts?
Well, Sandra, one of the interesting aspects about this meeting is that Blanche may be the first Department of Justice official to interview Maxwell. I was under the impression, the reporting previously was that she had spoken to investigators. After all, there were numerous state and federal investigations into this scandal. I was told by a member of her legal team that she has never been interviewed by the Justice Department. And that does raise the question of whether she is an untapped source of information. So this is a much more significant interview than many of us might have anticipated. The assumption is that if she had something to trade, she would have done it already. I mean, the expiration date on this milk is long past because she's already been sentenced to 20 years, and you would think she would have come forward and say, look, I've got something here that's worth a trade. But she is making many people feel uncomfortable today because she is someone who may have a lot of information that simply has not been revealed.
Yeah, and her brother is suggesting that she will be putting forward new evidence. He tells the New York Post, quote, she will be putting before the court material new evidence that was not available to the defense at her 2021 trial, which would have had a significant impact on its outcome. All right, so this is also Maxwell's attorney responding to all of this on BBC. She would testify truthfully, as she always has said she would. As for the congressional subpoena, Ms. Maxwell is taking this one step at a time. She looks forward to her meeting with the Department of Justice, and that discussion will help inform how she proceeds. I guess we're really left wondering, I mean, is this just a little bit of new information, or is she sitting on a mountain of new evidence?
I mean, here's the thing. It could be a mountain of new evidence that is actually true, or it could be a mountain of evidence that is just completely fabricated because she's had time to sit down and think. She's had nothing but time, guys. She's had years behind bars to just concoct and come up with something. Here's the other thing, too. My only issue with this is this here too. If she had some smoking gun things and evidence and information, why didn't she talk about this before? Why didn't she mention this before? I even said this earlier, on the last time we talked about the Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell stuff. I even said this too. Same thing with the DOJ and the FBI. Don't they already know everything? So aren't they walking in to sit down with her about things and talk to her about things that they already been known? If they have thousands and thousands and thousands of documents, pages and pages and pages of information, are they walking into the room being like, we already know that. We already know that list. We already know those names. Sure, there might be like 2 or 3 or, a few other things, a few things that they may not know, okay? But how much of it do they already know before they walk into that room? So again, like I said, it's hard it's hard to completely believe her because of what she is in jail for, in prison for, right? So again, this is going to be very, very difficult for people to really take this situation seriously. Now, the things I need to tell you guys is not breaking news. I thought it was breaking news, but it's not. It's about a day. It's about a day old. We're going to talk about those things here in a second. We're going to continue on, though, to what we're talking about. Actually, no, one of them I could talk about right now. I can slide this in because I know this is going to help. It's going to make some, people on the right that watch the show feel a little bit better. Okay, so we definitely need to talk about this for sure. And honestly, I take that back. Anybody, if there's connections to this stuff, they definitely will be happy. I'm happy about this too. Okay, because no matter what, if draining the swamp needs to happen, then draining the swamp needs to happen, right? If there are people on the left and the right that are doing very, very bad things, let them have it. Okay, let justice reign supreme. Okay, but here's the information that they're saying now. House panel has now voted. Okay, they're now voting to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton over possible links to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is a big freaking deal. Huge deal. Okay, now there's allegedly a birthday card that Bill Clinton wrote to Jeffrey Epstein as well. And that should be a big deal too. He wrote a letter to Epstein showing and giving him his love to Jeffrey Epstein. This is a big deal. See, the thing is, though, we need to give this the same amount of effort, focus, and vigor. And it should be treated the same way. In fact, I go, if they're getting subpoenaed, shouldn't Trump be subpoenaed as well? I'm just asking for a friend. Okay? Shouldn't he be subpoenaed as well? Think about it for a second. Real talk. Any person that wrote letters to him, showed love to him, so on and so forth, shouldn't they be subpoenaed? Can you subpoena a sitting president? That's a question I'd like to have answered as well. I'm quite curious about that. But again, same type of vigor that they're having towards Bill and Hillary Clinton. Same energy that they're having with it should be even on all planes, guys. It should be even across the board. Because he's writing letters, Bill is writing letters to Epstein as well. And we seen footage of him getting his back rubbed by some random girl waiting to get on an airplane. Stuff like that. Some really bad stuff for Bill Clinton as well, guys. Let's keep it real. So let's take a look at this. This is just something that just kind of came across my desk. So I want to grab this and share this with y'all. But see, you can see, Bill Clinton not have relations with that woman, right? So a House Oversight Panel's subcommittee voted to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton on Wednesday over their alleged ties to notorious Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein's, convicted accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. So Representative Scott Perry introduced the motion for subpoenas during a federal law enforcement subcommittee hearing, and it was approved by the Republican-led panel via voice note with no roll call taken. The Clintons and several former top Justice Department officials, ex-FBI Comey, a bunch of other people, okay, were included in the list of subpoenas sought by Perry in order to, quote unquote, expand the full committee's investigation into Miss Maxwell. So they will be subpoenaed to be brought in to talk about their possible connections to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is insane. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer would need to formally issue the subpoenas to the Clintons and the others for them to be compelled to provide testimony or documents to the panel. Subpoenas will be issued in the future, a spokesperson for the House Oversight Committee told the Post. The former president acknowledged in his book called Citizen, 2024 book called Citizen, My Life After the White House, that he flew aboard. Oh my God, he said that, didn't he? He flew aboard Epstein's private plane, nicknamed the Lolita. Good golly, Miss Molly. It was called the Lolita. I forgot it was called the Lolita Express, y'all. In a connection to his work with Clinton Global Initiative nonprofit. Now, first off, let me just say this really quick. I'm just going to be real. First and foremost, let me just say this. That looks really bad for Mr. Clinton. Okay? This looks really, really bad. This looks really, 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 really bad. Let me just hear me out. Time out. Okay. First off, you ain't never going to see me get on a plane called Lolita Express. Do you understand? It's like, oh, what's the name of the plane? Oh, it's called Lolita. Oh, yeah, nice name. I'm not getting on that plane. If it's a boat called Lolita, if it's something, anything, no. I ain't gonna even talk to a woman named Lolita. That's how serious I am about this. Okay, Lolita Express. You're not connecting the dots, my brother. And the fact that you also wrote this in your book, oh my God. And he wrote this in his book, and the book is from 2024. This is recent, y'all. Oh, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, man. That's bad for him. Let me just tell you, that is bad for him. Period. He wrote it in a doggone book. He didn't decide to just take that ish and that info to the grave. Well, see, this is what happens. And if this is part of draining the swamp, then drain away. Let's continue on. He says, I wish I had never met him. Like this is a Carl Thomas song. I wish I never met her. Right? Nobody knows Carl Thomas except some of y'all. But you know what I'm talking about. Moving on. Okay? This is crazy. So this is what he wrote of Epstein, adding that traveling on his plane was, quote unquote, not worth the years of questioning afterwards. Duh! You're the mother-loving president, man. You get on a plane called Lolita Express. Come on, man. Do the math, mother. The former president, who has not been accused of any wrongdoing in the Epstein case, claimed that he had no idea Epstein and Maxwell were STing the Littles. Lolita Express. Do the freaking math. Good God. According to visitor logs, Epstein visited the White House at least 17 times, beginning shortly after Clinton was sworn into office in 1993, which we've known some of that information in the past. We've done some deep diving about the connection with Bill Clinton and Epstein and Jizzy. Okay, we've done our fair share of this information, and this is just crazy. By the way, this kind of information is absolutely mind-boggling. Okay. But the fact that they are to be subpoenaed and they're supposed to either do some sort of deposition or to give out or, give documents, evidence of some kind is insane. Okay. So that is something that's very interesting. Just a little bit of a detour, but I think that's very important information to hear. Okay. Now, here's something else that is very interesting. Today, this happened today, guys. This happened today. Now, we heard about the rumor of a possibility of Ghislaine Maxwell getting pardoned. That was before the DOJ even entertained the idea about meeting with her, okay? This is way before they got into a plane and flew out to Florida to see her face to face, just so you guys know this, all right? And then, of course, at that time, Trump was basically, did he not say that he's not interested? Or no, not him. The White House said, which clearly to me, I'm like, that sounds like it's coming from Trump if it's the White House. But the White House actually said, nah, we ain't pardoning nobody. We ain't pardoning nobody. But now he is saying that he has the power to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. He hasn't made a decision on it yet, but he might. But he hasn't thought about it yet. But he has the power to. But he hasn't thought about it yet. Interesting, right? When the White House said, hell to the no, we ain't going to pardon that girl. Are you out your damn mind? Now he is saying, I have the power to. I haven't thought about it yet, but I have the power to. Why would you say that? Especially when you're sitting there within the same breath being like, we need to stop talking about my connection to Epstein. Why don't you look at Obama? Why don't you look at all this other stuff? Russia, right? But then at the same doggone time, while he's saying, stop talking about it, shut up, stop talking about it, he goes, but, I'm thinking about it, but shut up about it, but I'm thinking about it, but be quiet about it. Stop asking me questions about it. Make that make sense, guys. Make that make sense. It's sloppy work. It's sloppy. Okay? So Trump says he has the quote-unquote power to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell and reveals if he plans to take action. Even after the White House said, no, we ain't doing it, though. We ain't doing that. Okay? So President Trump spectacularly floated the prospect of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay? So we already know about all this, that they were former lovers, blah, blah, blah. All right, she's serving 20 years. We already know that. He says he didn't rule out whether he'd used his sweeping pardon powers to let Maxwell off the hook. When asked about the matter, Trump responded, I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I haven't thought about. You just say no. Do you understand? You just say no. Okay? When somebody offers you some party favors, some hard party favors, you don't sit there and go, I'm allowed to do it, but, it's not something I've thought about. You just straight up say no like Nancy Reagan. Just say no. Okay? There have been questions about whether Trump would use his presidential power to pardon her or commute her sentence. A growing fringe effort to get Trump to pardon Maxwell has unfolded after the Justice Department rejected her effort to have her conviction on the STing charges thrown out. Okay, so she did put up paperwork being like, how about you let me go? If there's no list and there's no files and you don't have nothing, then I did nothing, right? So set me free. And they said, nah, you staying right where you at. You sitting just fine. Gray looks marvelous on you. Keep rocking that gray boo-boo, right? So again, let's take a look at this. Is that nope? Nope, it's not that one. Hold on. There it is. Here it is. Let's take a look at this.
Well, I don't know about the meeting. I know it's taking place, and he's a fantastic man. He's a great attorney, and people should really focus on how well the country's doing, or they should focus on the fact that Barack Hussein Obama led a coup, or they should focus on the fact that Larry Summers from Harvard, that Bill Clinton, who you know very well, and lots of other friends, really close friends of Jeffrey Summers, should be spoken about, because, Jeffrey Epstein should be spoken about, and they should speak about them, because they don't talk about them. They talk about me. I have nothing to do with the guy.
Interesting how he goes, let me throw everybody under the bus. Let me throw everybody under the bus. I don't understand why you're not talking about all these other people. You keep talking to me. Well, you're the only one who holds the key to the truth. Right now, at least. Sure. A couple years ago, Biden had power. But let's be real. Do you really think that Biden could even remember his first name after the first year in office? I mean, respectfully, he was definitely in mental decline. There's no question about that, for sure. Okay? There's no question about that. But when it comes to this, come on now. Come on now. You the one in power. You're the one who has the control over the situation. Right now, everything looks like a mess because of what the decisions that have been made as of late. That's where everything's getting sloppy. Sure, talk about those things, but you got to address the situation and put out the information that we need. But he keeps going like, oh, let's talk about them with the Epstein stuff. See how he said, let's not talk about Epstein. Let's move on from Epstein. But now there's this, he's trying to put out new narrative connected to Epstein. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? He's like, let's not talk about Epstein, but don't forget Bill Clinton and all that with Epstein. Stop connecting me to him. Why aren't you obsessing over them with Bill Clinton and them? You see what I'm saying? It's like, but don't talk about it anymore. But I'm going to talk about Bill Clinton and the connection. You see what I'm saying? It's just, it's sloppy work, y'all.
Are you considering will you do any business deals with the UK?
Yeah, I'm going to meet with the Prime Minister right now. We're going to be over there in about 6 hours. We're meeting with the Prime Minister tonight. We're going to be talking about the trade deal that we made and maybe even improve it.
Are you considering climate change for Ghislaine Maxwell? Are you considering climate change for Ghislaine Maxwell, sir?
I saw homeless people sleeping right outside the gates of the White House. Are you concerned about that?
I think it's terrible, and we'll have them removed immediately. We do remove it. We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over, and I think it's terrible. Where are they? Where did you see them?
It's right outside on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Near the Treasury.
Right across the street. Have you heard about Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Are you still disappointed in President Biden?
Well, I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to say is that Todd is a great attorney, but you ought to be speaking about Larry Summers. You ought to be speaking about some of his friends that are hedge fund guys. They're all over the place. You ought to be speaking about Bill Clinton, who went to the island 28 times. I never went to the island.
Do you maintain you did not light up?
See what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Let me be real. If he's never been on the island, then he's never been on the island. And if that's real talk, then that's real talk. Because like I said, just because his name is in the files does not mean that he's doing anything wrong or anything bad. But the fact that we are seeing a cover up is weird. That is weird. That stuff is weird. And then, of course, the deflection is weird, too. Again, it's like if he was in the... See, that's the thing. What I'm basically trying to say is that I want him to just come up and be like, yo, I'm on the list or I'm on the files, but I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, guys, let me be completely transparent. Let me just address the elephant in the room. Okay. So here it is. Let me just address the elephant in the room. I am in there. Okay. Just so you know. But I'm telling you, I've never done anything wrong. I've never done anything bad. And if you'll see the files, and in the files, you'll see I have not done anything illegal. Yeah, I was friends with him, but I didn't know he was like that. I didn't. Now, there's some other people that you guys should be asking about. You should be looking into those people. You see what I'm saying? It's just straight up being completely transparent and real. Hopefully what he's saying, if he was to say that he's not he is in the files, but he's not named in there doing something, any wrongdoing, then sure, fine. But at the same time, that would, I feel, translate a lot better than what we're seeing right here. Again, like I said, I'm not here to, waste time bashing Trump and what he's doing for the country. Whatever he's doing for the country, I just hope we keep winning, right? I hope we're winning. I hope we're continuing to do great. But at the same time, when it comes to this stuff, this is murky as hell, and it's a bad look. It's tarnishing his name. It's tarnishing his legacy. It's tarnishing the Trump administration. It also makes the administration look sloppy. That is not something that you want to have in your administration. Okay? This is not good. So instead of him actually saying the things that he's saying right now, I wish he would just go, okay, here's everything. Let me tell you. Now that I told you guys this, worry about those other people that are doing really nasty things, that are alleged of doing crimes with this Epstein guy. Take a look at this. You see what I'm saying? That's it. But unfortunately, that's not what we're looking at here. He keeps deflecting. How is that going to look to the rest of the world? Because it's not only just us countrymen, okay, and country women. It's all the people around the world that are watching this too. It looks bad.
Letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday. I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot. All you have to do is take a look at the dossier, the fake dossier. Everything's fake with that administration. Everything's fake with the Democrats. Take a look at what they just found about the dossier. Everything is fake. They're a bunch of sick people. Where did you see the people laying outside?
Right across the street from Lafayette Park, sir. Towards 15.
We'll take care of it.
Are you hoping to meet with President Putin for bringing hostages home? What are the alternative methods to bring hostages home?
Well, we got a lot of them out, and it's I've always said those last 10 or 20 are going to be the toughest because Hamas knows what happens when they don't have any bargaining chips. And they really broke a deal. They broke a deal, and you're going to have to do what you have to do right now. It's a terrible thing. And I always knew that. I said, when you get down to the last one, they're not going to be able to make a deal.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir?
I'm telling you right now, I hope to the sweet, sweet baby Jesus, he doesn't. I'm telling you right now, if they do give her a pardon, two different things. It's for two different reasons. One, because they're going to try to keep her quiet. Or two, because she knows something and they gave her something. Or she gave them something. But here's the thing. Then everybody's going to demand, what was the deal all about? What did she know? What was the exchange? What was the information that you gave, that she gave to you guys that got her out? He's not going to just pardon her just for ish and giggles, because out of the kindness of his heart. And if he does that, the entire country is going to implode. You understand that, right? The entire country is going to freaking implode. So that would be a very bad look for him too. Because then at the same time, all the survivors, all the victims that are out there would definitely feel some type of way about that for sure.
Why has the dollar fallen so much? And are you concerned about that?
Well, I'm a person that likes a strong dollar. But a weak dollar makes you a hell of a lot more money. Hate to tell you. I don't know if you study it, but I study it. And if you look at the yen...
I went to Japan and worked, so I know this.
You understand?
Absolutely.
Oh, you did go to Japan?
I went to work, yes,
well,
sir.
that means you're a smarter guy than I even thought, and I know you're smart. So when we have a strong dollar, one thing happens. It sounds good. But you don't do any tourism. You can't sell tractors. You can't sell trucks. You can't sell anything. It is good for inflation. That's about it. And we have no inflation. We've wiped out inflation. But it's an interesting question. So I will never say I like a low currency, but you remember the battles I had with the yuan, with China and with Japan, Japan being the yen. They always wanted a weak currency. They're trying to get a weak currency now. Now, it doesn't sound good, but you make a hell of a lot more money with a weaker dollar, not a weak dollar, but a weaker dollar than you do with a strong dollar. And the first people that are going to notice it are the manufacturers of trucks and various other things. Like, look at Caterpillar, how well they're doing now. When you have a strong dollar, you can't sell anything. It's only good for inflation, and it's good psychologically. It makes you feel good. But with that being said, I love strong dollars, but you make your money with a currency. And I had so many different fights with President Xi, between Japan and China. All they want to do is have a weak currency. They're always fighting for a weak currency. And that's how they really dominated over the years. So when I see it down there, I don't lose sleep over it, let's put it that way. In fact, sometimes they go to sleep very happy. You understand? Do you agree with me?
I agree with a lot of what you said, Mr. President. Do you think it makes any easier to impose your tariffs with that lower dollar? Because
I think it makes it easier even for tariffs, yeah. And it makes the tariffs worth much more. And it's easier to pay off debt. And it's easier to get a low interest rate. There are a lot of good things. It's hard to explain to people. The headline, Trump wants a weak dollar. It's not a weak dollar. You take a look at the history of China over the last 20 years. All they do is fight for a weak currency. Look at Japan when they were really doing well. They had a very weak currency. So to me, I just say, thank you very much. It is what it is.
President, what's your comment on have you given up on a Gaza ceasefire?
Well, the Gaza situation, and I said this was going to happen.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. I think that of course, like I said, it's very interesting that he said, that I have the power to do it. I haven't thought about it, but I have the power to do it. Now, obviously, like I said, it's fine stating facts. Like, yes, he has the power to do that. He has the power to do whatever the hell he wants, for the most part, right? But at the same time, why say that? Okay? Why even say that? I just think that's a very odd thing, and that's why everybody, the media, et cetera, are latching onto that and reacting so much about that, because it's crazy for him to say something like that. Instead of him being like, he could easily say, there's no way in hell. You know how he is. Iran and Israel don't know what the F they're doing, right? Didn't he say that a few weeks ago when he said that? And I was like, damn, all right, bro, going gangster. Thank you so much for saying what you said, right? He's definitely somebody who will sit there and go, F you real quick. So why would he not just say, hell no, I'm not pardoning that woman? No. You see what I'm saying? This is the same guy who also was saying, I wish you're well. I wish you're well. So then if you know what I mean? So of course there's going to be people who are going to be side-eyeing this situation and asking the questions on like, what's really going on here? Real talk. What's really going on here? Because of course, when somebody turns to you and says, are you going to pardon her? The instant reaction, the instant answer, without hesitation, without a hiccup, should always be one word, one syllable. No. That's it. No. You can even do 2 syllables, 2 words. Hell no. Okay? That's it. And keep it moving. Next question, right? But he doesn't do that. He says, I have the ability to do this. I have the ability to do that, but I haven't thought about it yet. He's definitely thought about it. Okay? He has definitely thought about it. KDC, let me just say this. Thank you so much for saying that. If you know of a cartoon that needs a voice, tell him to holler at your boy. Okay? I would love to voice on like some cartoon and make millions of dollars. That would be awesome. Okay? Like I said, we get by over here. Okay? We get by over here. But of course, I would love to be making stacks off of my weirdness. Of course. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Michelle, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Whether Maxwell has something to say or not, she should have been put in protected custody or the second she started talking, because I'm not 100% sure Epstein, did that thing to himself. I'm not sure about that either, sweetheart. Okay, Michelle, let me just be real. I still feel like something sinister happened. I truly do. But I feel like that's going to be something that we'll never get the answer to. Ever. Maymag, thank you so much for the love. I wonder if she's going to end like her boyfriend. This is BS. Sure, the feds know. Yeah. Like I said, there's information I think that she knows that the feds already know. So they're going to sit down with her, and I'm sure they're just trying to crack some sort of deal. Okay? That's what I think is going to happen. she'll get a reduced sentence to keep her mouth shut. That's what I truly think. I think it's going to be shut your mouth. We'll give you a few years off. That's what I think. Or put her in a better facility. You know, that's what I think. Happy days. Thank you so much for the love. He may be trying to figure out how to get Maxwell out of the country, and then she'll just magically disappear like a thief in the night. I know that's possible too. You know, happy days, you ain't wrong with that. And that would be diabolical if that was true. But we'll see what happens with that. Let's take a look at this here real quick.
So former Biden chief of staff Ryan Klain getting candid with the GOP lawmakers investigating what insiders knew about Biden's cognitive decline. Klain told them Biden appeared tired and ill at that fateful debate, but they never saw him take Ambien like Hunter Biden claimed. Klain also revealed that Hillary Clinton and top advisor Jake Sullivan sounded the alarm on Biden's political viability months before he dropped out. Fox News contributor and GW law professor Jonathan Turley joins us now. Okay, so part of this is, you know, palace intrigue and all that, knowing the backstory there. But from a criminal standpoint, what can they be held liable for?
Hold on. I didn't know that this was going to be this. So let me play a little bit of this because I'm actually kind of curious about this too. I think it's really, really messed up that Biden even continued to do, you know, to campaign for a second term and all that. It looked like it was a tragedy watching him up there during that debate. He could not put two words to form a sentence. It was really, really bad. Okay. And I think that, yes, I think that there was a lot of cover up going on in the Biden administration. I'm going to say it. Okay. Surprise, surprise. Actually, there's no surprise. It was really bad. Okay. That's why he was getting called Sleepy Joe. That's why we were seeing him walking off in the middle of speeches, right? Or just standing around watching some commemorative, you know, band playing and also duking himself at the same time. You didn't see that stuff? It's all out there. Real talk. He sat there and he looks like he's dropping a deuce standing on the stage in real time. With all due respect, okay? His mental decline we watched in real time, okay? It was bad. They should not have let him run a second term. I do not know why they let him do that, but they did it anyway, okay? And then they sweeped in and swapped him out for Kamala. I mean, it was bad, guys. Okay, all kinds of bad. So I am kind of curious about this investigation into his presidency and all that.
Well, in terms of the president's conduct, there's really nothing criminal there. Except for possible lying to federal officials or acts of perjury. So the greatest threat to many of these former officials is that they are going to give false information or misleading information to Congress. That's probably the reason why some of them have pled the fifth. But you know, in terms of the president himself, he's not likely, obviously, facing criminal conduct over his deteriorated state. Also, in terms of White House officials lying about his lack of capacity, that's also not necessarily a crime. It's only when they give false information to Congress, when they give false testimony, that they're looking at a serious potential charge.
So, Professor, I want to get your take on another story, and that's the Epstein files. And it looks like the administration is taking this very serious. When you send the deputy attorney general to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, I think they want full control of this. This is what her brother is saying in a statement. She would be putting before a court material new evidence that was not available to the defense at her 2021 trial, which would have had a significant impact on its outcome. Is she going to get something in return? I mean, there's really no motivation to talk with the feds unless she gets some type of deal. What could that deal be?
Right, Lawrence, that's really the key question here. There is a thing called a 5K 1.1 motion that the Justice Department can file. for cooperation to reduce a sentence. That's usually when someone is a key witness in the prosecution of a third party. The defense can also go to a court and ask for a reduction based on new evidence, but we haven't seen that. She was convicted and given 20 years. And so the question is, if there's something there, why haven't they revealed it so far? The third possibility is a commutation, more likely than a pardon from the president, maybe at the end of his term, if she is a highly cooperative witness. So all of those are possibilities for Maxwell. The question is what she has. I was surprised in speaking with a member of the legal defense team a couple days ago when they said that reports that she had been previously interviewed by federal and state prosecutors, investigators, was not true. That she had never been interviewed. Yes, and despite all of these past investigations in this scandal, I was really taken aback by that.
I'm taken aback by that too. Say what? So she's been locked up and all this stuff, and they've never interrogated, never interviewed, no nothing. They've gotten nothing from her this entire time. They just locked her up and threw away the key. That is sus as hell.
So if that's true, she could be an untapped source of new information. The question is, what is that information? Is it just salacious, or is it something more that would reveal criminal conduct?
Jonathan, this is new information for
no
me,
doubt.
and so forgive me, but how do you prosecute someone without doing an interview? I mean, that's like investigative procedure 101.
No doubt.
Well, they're saying that she had interaction, no doubt, in her own prosecution. But when I asked whether she had sat down with investigators, and there were so many investigations on a state and federal level, and I said, are you saying that she was never called forth to give information either in the state or federal systems? And they said no, that she has largely been left untouched by these past investigations. So the question is, what does she still have? And also, why didn't she reveal it before? She had every motivation in the world if she could trade something.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt what he's saying, but this is exactly what I've been saying for the past freaking God knows how long we've been talking about this. Come on, man.
To do so before she was sentenced to 20 years.
Jesus.
Wow. So part 2 is going to happen today. The Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, is going to go back to interview her. Now, he said after this interview, he'll decide if they're going to come to the public with the findings of that. So we look forward to hearing that. Jonathan Turley, Professor.
That's insane. The fact that she has not been interrogated or interviewed by anyone, even while she was when she got arrested, nothing, that's crazy. Okay? Something's weird. Something is most definitely rotten in Denmark. Definitely. Okay? Now, real quick, I do want to okay. First off, I want to talk about this one thing, okay? Real quick. First and foremost, I did a video this morning, okay, about Candace Owens being sued by the French president and his wife, okay? And that there is a crazy piece of information. There's some crazy information that's been out here like crazy with Candace Owens. What Candace Owens has been putting out here in her in a docu-series, okay, that she did over the past several months, okay? Like for several months ago, she did a whole bunch of stuff, okay? And if you don't know about this, Candace Owens was sued recently by the French president and his wife because she says in her show, in this docu-series, and that's one thing I made a mistake on. It's a docu-series. It's not a documentary. It's a docu-series, and they're very long. That the president's wife, Brigitte Macron, hopefully I'm saying that correct, was indeed born a man. Now, I have to hit the button. Okay. Now, here's the thing. very interesting, very wild accusations to put out here. Okay. This is something apparently that's been going on. This has been a rumor that people have been talking about for a long time, even on TikTok. This has been a conspiracy theory for a long time. Okay. Just so you guys know. And then I guess that Candace Owens saw to it to bring it under her radar and talk about it as well. Now she has been hit with a defamation lawsuit. Now I see a lot of people saying she can't be, that can't be defamation if it's freedom of speech and all that stuff. I don't know about all that, but I do know that it is pretty crazy. It is some wild allegations. I don't know how I feel about it. All I know is that if Brigitte Macron is not really a woman, like she was not born. Sorry, let me repeat that. Hold on, time out. That she wasn't really born a woman, okay? That she was actually born a man. This would be very bad for her and also the French president, okay, Emmanuel Macron. This would be a very bad look because now Candace Owens could basically say, if it goes into a courtroom, I demand proof. Like she might have to drop trowel and show her piping, her workings down there, just to make sure, proof positive that she is indeed born a woman. She would have to give samples of DNA, blood, etc., to show proof positive that she is indeed born a woman. It would be insane. So like I said, this would be very bad for them because it would only expose them. It would only expose them if what Candace Owens has said in this multi-series docu-series, okay? It would only prove that Candace Owens ain't crazy and she's not making it up, okay? Or they do all the work. They go all to great lengths to do all this work, only to find out that she is indeed born a woman. It could be a very bad look for Candace Owens. Very bad look for Candace Owens. So I did a video about it, okay? I highly recommend you guys go and check it out when we get done with this show. Please go check it out. Definitely, it's a conversation that people are having out here. It is pretty wild that the president of France and his wife are suing Candace Owens. With all due respect, not trying to belittle her because I'm the same thing, but a podcaster on YouTube, okay? It is pretty insane stuff. Again, this could blow up in their face, okay? This could be very, very bad for them. And then it could also show that all the allegations that she is saying in that docuseries, it could also say that maybe the things that she's saying in it, which is really bad, could actually be true as well, which, of course, I just started watching it and listening to the docuseries myself. Starting to watch it and listen to it in its entirety. And the allegations in here are so bad that if it is true, those things might get unearthed during this actual lawsuit if it actually sees the inside of a courtroom. So again, this could be very, very bad. Not only, there's so many different angles here because it could show that the Macrons are nasty. And I don't mean because she changed, that she transitioned. I'm not talking about that. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. That's your life. Do your life. I'm talking about the kid stuff, the disgusting stuff, right? Like Epstein level type stuff, if not worse. Okay. That is disgusting, right? That could potentially be unearthed if this whole thing follows through. Because if they prove that she was indeed born, I can't even believe we're talking about this, to be honest, but if she is indeed born a man, then that also could make you wonder about the other information and all the other allegations and rumors that are out here as well surrounding those two as well. So it could be very, very bad for them. But then at the same time, we got to flip the coin real quick. Flip the coin. This could also be very, very bad for Candace Owens, because if they find out that she was naturally just born a woman and these allegations aren't true, like that allegations isn't true, then that could also mean that the other things that she said surrounding that part, because it's much bigger than just her being born a woman or being born a man, okay? That could also be very bad. It could also be a domino effect. So it's like, okay, so she was born a woman, so therefore these other allegations and all this whole series of videos that she put out, that countless hours of content, could also be fake, could also be wrong. And that could destroy Candace Owens' credibility. Pretty insane, okay? Pretty insane. But this, this sounds weird, but this also shows you the power of the voice. I hate to say that, but she got on a microphone and said all, but this, like I said, what she said is wild. It is wild. And it's in the realm of TikTok rumor stuff, TikTok conspiracy theory stuff, okay? And she did a severe deep dive into this, okay? Severe, very thorough deep dive. Now the question is the information that she's saying in that docuseries that she put together, is it actually 110% real? Or does she just go down a conspiracy rabbit hole that's filled with rumors and lies? We're going to find out. We're going to find out here very, very soon, right? And yes, I know that there's some controversy about how Emmanuel met his future wife, okay, which is Brigitte. That's not good too. Okay, that's bad. How they met, very controversial. But at the same time, that's controversial for sure. But does that automatically mean that she was born a man? I'm just saying that stuff is bad. But that part, this other part that we're hearing, it's just a rumor for right now. And now they have filed a lawsuit of defamation towards Candace Owens, and it's big. This is a big, big, big lawsuit, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here with Candace Owens. So I'm just saying, please, and of course, the president and his wife, the president of France and his wife, and this whole thing that's going to go on. So I'm just telling you right now, we're gonna see how it goes, okay? And I'm going to let you guys know all about it when we get more information. But again, please go check out that video. I'm also watching, okay? I am also checking out and watching the full series because I want to be fully vetted, okay? Because I only knew a little bit. So I took the time to sit down, watch some of it. It's 8 hours of content, guys. So it's a lot. So I'm trying to get as much as I can. When I get that information, we're going to talk. We definitely going to talk about that for show, okay? Because it is wild information. Now, there is something here, though, I want to share with you, okay? Just a little bit of an update. This is about a day or two old, but I still want to share this with you guys. Now, remember, we talked about sneaky links, right? We talked about the the Coldplay kiss cam, right? Well, the CEO is trash. Let me just tell you why I think he's trash. Because of this. So the CEO is now looking to sue Coldplay because of the viral kiss cam moment, according to a source. So if this is actually true, you are absolutely out your rabbit ass mind. You're going to sue Coldplay because they were randomly pointing a camera out at people and they happened to get a glimpse of y'all cheating? Come on, y'all. Let's take a look. This is a spicy meatball. So, Coldplay's viral kiss cam moment may take a turn for the worse for the band. Insiders exclusively told Rob Shutter's Shutter Scoop that the former CEO of Astronomer, okay, Andy Byron, okay, who is at the center of this incident, is considering suing Coldplay with a lawsuit over the viral moment. According to the source, Byron, isn't too happy with the fact that the clip of him embracing a woman who has not only taken over the internet, but has also become fodder for jokes. Well, I mean, listen, homie, you out here, you doing all this, you cheating on your wife, you're doing this in front of people. This isn't like he was in some speakeasy bar with his side piece, having a cocktail, and then randomly someone ran up with a camera and started shooting. No, he was in a very public place. He was at a concert inside thousands and thousands of other people. This arena or this area, you cannot sue Coldplay because they happen to just catch you out of nowhere doing something that you shouldn't have been doing in the first doggone place. Stop it. Stop it. Stupid. And you know he's going to fall on his face. Do you realize how much of a douchebag he is now? Do you realize that he's so douchey that he would go and take his sneaky link to a doggone Coldplay concert? That's how douchey he is. And now we realize he has fully embodied the douchebag. He is a full-on F-boy. Look at that. He's going to go sue Coldplay because they were innocently showing love to each other. And he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Stop. This is so dumb. And I wonder if the lead singer of Coldplay is laughing his ass off about this, because there's no way on God's green earth this guy is going to win this lawsuit. You realize that, right? It's like, that's on you, bro. We didn't ruin your life. You ruined yours. In fact, your life was about to be ruined. It was only a matter of time that you were going to get caught. Unfortunately, and actually fortunately, you got caught in the biggest way possible. Like I said, guys and ladies, because ladies cheat too. Let me tell you about your sneaky links and you being out here being a snake in the grass, kissing your loved ones, and still smelling like her perfume or his cologne as you walk back in that house, telling your spouse that you love them and all that stuff. Shame on all y'all, first off. Second, eventually you're going to get caught. You're just lucky you didn't go to a Coldplay concert. But let's move on. So the former astronomer CEO, Andy Byron, has had a rough couple of days since being involved in a viral kiss cam at Coldplay's concert. Duh! For those unaware, the band's Massachusetts concert captured by, well, we already know about all that crap. So according to Rob Shutter's exclusive report, the former CEO is exploring a lawsuit against Coldplay over the viral kiss cam incident. Insiders revealed that Byron is citing emotional distress. Oh my God, shut up! Emotional distress and invasion of privacy? How were you that? So you mean to tell me a concert is your bedroom? A concert filled with thousands of people is your bedroom chambers. Someone talk to me. Come on, man. You got to be kidding me. While planning to sue the band and the event organizers, a source close to him expressed that he, quote unquote, didn't consent to being filmed or publicly humiliated. You, first off, publicly humiliated your wife before all of this. So I call this karma, baby. This is called karma, baby. Yeah. This is karma, baby. Yeah. You go out there, you're strutting your stuff with your sneaky link in front of other people while your wife is at home, probably with your kids. She's thinking, my man loves me. I can't wait to see his ass. And you out there with your sneaky link, parading her around like she's your main squeeze. Come on now. This is karma. You can't be mad at them for doing that. They didn't know they were going to catch you doing that. Stop. Oh, he's such a douche. This dude is a douchebag. Moving on. Yeah, it's quite serendipitous. It is. Moving on. by a report. And you know what? I hope his wife is feeling so good. You know what I'm saying? I hope she feels so good about this. Yes, I know it hurts. And being like this, but how he got busted, how he got exposed. Come on now. She must be kind of chuckling about this. Because this kind of ridicule, you know what I mean? This is a whole nother level. This is a special type of situation. You feel me? Moving on, though. He reportedly thinks Coldplay made him a meme. So he blamed straight up Coldplay for this. No, baby. The internet. Let me say that one more time. One more time. The internet. Yes. The internet made you a meme, young man. Well, actually, old ass man. Yeah. It wasn't Coldplay. It was the internet, because the internet is forever and they are diabolical. Okay? Come on. Meanwhile, legal experts told the outlet that they didn't view his legal course coming into fruition. Well, I bet not, because this is dumb. He is reaching. Yes, DD, he is reaching. Okay? An attorney noted that one can expect no privacy when it's a public concert with cameras and thousands of people gathered. The expert believed that the former astronomer CEO is likely, quote unquote, trying to shift blame. Yes. Can we please just bring back shame? Okay. Shame. With the bell from Game of Thrones. Shame. Can we just bring that back? Okay. Can we just bring back shame again? Just for for these kind of moments, you feel me? And people who wear random, ugly, overly revealing clothes at a Walmart. I mean, my kids are here, man. We could see your booty hole. Can you put some pants on? We can see all of it, and I don't need to see all of it. And my kids don't look. Okay, bring back shame. Shame, please. Moving on, while Coldplay is yet to respond to the report, they're probably laughing. Sources shared that frontman Chris Martin laughed out. There it is. Yes, he laughed out loud at Byron's attempt to sue the band. Thank you. This is on you, baby. Mr. Byron, that's on you, homie. That is on you. You can sit here all day long trying to move the goalpost. In fact, I think we have the better one right here, where they're both looking like they're pooping their pants. You can sit here all day long trying to move the goalpost and try to point blame, but the only person you have to blame is yourself. Okay? The only person you got to blame is your damn self. Okay? That person you look in the mirror. Yeah. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could be any clearer. I forgot the rest of the lyrics. But you know what I'm saying, okay? If you want to make the world or your wife happier, just look at yourself and make a change. Okay? Yeah. Sha-na-na, na-na-na, na-na, na-na. That's what you should be doing, okay? Damn. Look at them. That's what you get. Yes, make that change. I got a 5. Sorry. Can you make change out of 5? I can make that change. No? Okay. But I'm just saying, that's a pathetic man right there. That's pathetic. Okay? Pathetic. He should know better. Quit shifting blame. Bring back shame. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Of course, if there's anything popping off, we'll talk for sure. Okay, there's plenty of things to talk about, plenty of things to cover. So get ready. We got some things to talk about. Okay? But please do me a favor before we head out. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching those on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Please make sure to hit that follow button on all those platforms, please. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on my main channel, here on the YouTubes. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well, please and thank you. Okay? Go to my third channel, Pascal Raw. And make sure you're subscribed over there as well. Hit that notification bell on all of them, all those platforms, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random, okay? Please and thank you. All right? That'll be awesome. Hit that join button down below right over here. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And check out pascalmerch.com. Okay, guys? But anyway, guys, if I don't see you guys, have a great weekend. Have a wonderful Friday night. If you are going to go kick it and do that, please get an Uber or a Lyft or a DD. Please drink responsibly. Don't go crazy out here. Your life, the world is better with you in it, okay? So get back home alive, okay? But you know for a fact there's always something going on. There's all kinds of muckery. So we'll be talking here very, very soon, okay, guys? Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.